Hi guys, it's Angie Bells, my fairy treasures. Okay, I'm back. Okay guys, we're back. We're gonna finish coloring up this girl. I colored a lot of her up so we could just touch on a little of the hair, a little of the fairy wings, a little of the hair, and a little bit of the, I guess this is the clouds down here. Okay, so let's get into it. Let me bring the camera down. And we'll continue with the hair. Oh, and as you can see, this is what I came up with. Okay, really quickly. I decided to do her hair in this green combination, the wings, and then also the cloud, because everything seems to go, like the hair goes into the cloud, the wings touch the cloud, so this whole area right here just seemed like it would be cool with this cool green combo. Then I took some watercolor, Jane Davenport's watercolor, and I colored this as a base, and then we'll shade it. So we'll choose like a dark violet for the shading, okay? And blend that out. So, all right, so let's come in closer. There we go. And let's finish shading up this hair right here. Let me put my readers on. Here we go. And when we're done with this, I will have another of my mixed media fun kits, which will include a coloring sheet this same size, and then a coloring sheet that looks like this, that's a 5x7, and then one that's colored up like this, and then one that is a 5x7 of the background. You'll see what the kit includes as we go along. Okay, so that was the three colors we're using. Just as a reminder, is I'm using chartreuse, I'm using a and these are all Prismacolor Premieres. I'm using a dark green, and I'm using a grass green. And first I just used this darker green. Now I'm going in with chartreuse, which is one of my absolute favorite colors. This color just makes, whenever you use it, it just makes everything pop. I love it. And then I'm going to use this grass green right here. And I'm using a light medium pressure. I'm going to take my darker green and get into the little, I like to, like, in the little corners, I like to get it nice and dark. Because in the corners of anything, isn't that where the dark, where the shadow really is happening? I would say so. Okay, then let's go ahead and take our blender pencil and blend into the chartreuse on this side. And then blend into this grass green into the chartreuse on this side. Okay, and then let's throw some more grass green or some more chartreuse right in the middle, kind of going over both edges, and a little bit of white at the end just to really brighten and blend things even more. And it really adds a nice highlight in the middle to just go over with white right in that middle part. And let's repeat the process. We'll do one more strand of hair. Okay, and we'll use our chartreuse. And I also, when I'm using the chartreuse or any color right next to it, I go right back over the color we just did. That starts that blending process. Especially if you go over it kind of light, it starts the blending process of blending these two colors together. Let's go in with the grass green. Make sure you guys are still seeing everything. Yeah, you are. I'm excited how I did the skin. I'm excited to do this again. I looked at there was some picture, like I said, that I snapshot it really quick because I like the color combination of the skin. And she actually, or whoever did it, actually did a heavier shade. Like this blue actually was like really came out even further. Like where all this is at, this pink color was blue, and then it came out to some like magenta. So I like that I did it like this, but I want to even use more of this darker, I guess it was a violet color. So the next girl I do will probably use the same skin tone color combination again, but it's going to be way more intense. She's going to look way more violet. I think that's the color I used. Let me see what color that is. No, indigo blue. Indigo blue. So she's going to be even more indigo blue. We're going to shade her even heavier with indigo blue. And I'm probably going to come out with maybe a different color than this color here. We'll see. It's going to be that same type of technique, but it's going to be even more intense. And then I want to try the same technique with the skin color like this, the intensity and the coloring with shading with color, as I call it, with my pastels. My Jane Davenport pastel palette. So we've got a lot of playing around to do. That's what I love about art. I could just do this all day. Which I don't do it all day, but I do it for a nice part of my day, so it's always awesome. Okay, we're gonna let that go for now because I want to be able to get to other parts. So that's the hair. Let's get to these fairy wings. I'll show you how I accomplished that. Just a second, let me see if I go up with it. Oh no, come down. I want to get these wings all in. Okay, there we go. So the wings, it's the same. It's the same as the hair. It's totally the same. Except for, okay, see how there's a line in through here? We're going to work inside those lines. So I'm going to work, this is a section right here. And when you guys get this color sheet, I've redone the color sheet a little bit. Like this hair section right here, see how big this hair section is? I'm drawing a line in between there like this. So each section is divided up a little bit more, which makes it just even easier to color. And I think it just looks even more effective. Just prettier. Bigger sections, I think for some people could be a little bit harder to color. But smaller sections, like see how I'm doing this in this small little section here? It'd be a lot easier to color. And just even prettier, I think. So for the aesthetic and for the ease of coloring. You guys know right here in the little corners and the crux, I like to get it real nice and dark, real nice and shaded there. Okay, let's blend out. Let's blend this darker green into the chartreuse. Let's go to the grass green and blend this out into the chartreuse. Get a nice little blend going. I'm going to go over this grass green just a little bit more. Very lightly, just go over it a little bit more on the, right next to the line a little bit. It could be a little deeper. Okay. And then let's go in with the grass green in the middle again, or the chartreuse, sorry. Kind of going over the edges of what we just did on the darker side and the lighter side of the green. Going over the dark green and going over the grass green a little bit. And then right in the center here, just let's throw a nice little highlight, even going over some of the darker green and some of the grass green a little bit too. It just gives that extra blending and the extra highlight. I think it just adds an awesomeness to it. Very pretty. Okay, so now let's go right next to it right there. See how much easier it is if I divide up the strands, whether it's a wing or if it's hair, it'll be easier. So if you decide to order this coloring page, it'll be divided up. The hair will be divided up even more, just to make it easier, and I think prettier. Okay, and right in the crux here, right in the deep corners, let's get that shade of green deeper. And now we'll do a blend. Okay. And then let's do a little chartreuse here in the middle. I just love doing this. As a child, I think I shared with you before, I love coloring birds, like eagles and hawks, all kinds of birds, owls. It's always like eagles, hawks, owls, and I used to always want the crayons, the big pack, you know, like I think it was 75 or 100 pack, and had the sharpener on the back that never worked. Anyway, I used to only like to use all the browns, all the greens, and then like the bronzes and the gold, and that's all I used in the whole Crayola pack for my birds. And I would sit in my room and color for hours and hours and hours. And I think I did that because it is just so, it's so relaxing to me to do this. And I remember I was little, I was like, is this a job? Like, can I just sit in my room and color for my job? Because I want this to be my job. That's what I used to think when I was sitting there coloring by myself in my room for hours. Now, mind you, I wasn't a loner by any means. I loved having friends over. Oh my God, that was like my favorite thing. Like if I could choose friends over or coloring in my room, it'd be friends. But, you know, there's times where, you know, there's no one to play with or whatever. So those were my coloring times. Or if I got grounded or something. But I loved it. I just loved it like I love it now. Oh, you know what I just did? It doesn't matter. I did not use my grass green. I used the dark green on both sides. And you know what? That will be just fine. We'll still do the same thing. Blend it into the chartreuse on this side. Blend it into the chartreuse on this side. Because when you do that blender, you end up making a third color anyway. So it blends out to a lighter shade of whatever you're blending it out from. So it creates a third color. That's why it's still fine that that just happened. Okay, and then let's do this last wing here. It's weird. I put this pencil down and then picked it right back up. I thought I picked up the grass green, but I didn't. Okay, now let's go into our chartreuse color. Now we'll pick up our grass green to get grass green this time. Yep. Okay, let's blend. Now, some people are probably wondering, if you haven't done this stuff with pencils before, what if you don't have a blender pencil like this? What you can do, or what people do who don't use blender pencils, is they blend with color. So now you have your 3 shades of green, right? So you have the darker color, you have this lighter color, and you have this color here. Well, let's suppose the way I'm doing it here, I'm using the darker here, and then I'm going to the chartreuse. You have to do it as far as you have to do much lighter strokes, but you can just keep going over the edges of that green until it'll act as a blender and it will blend out. Okay, same thing here. You add this grass green here, take this chartreuse and just really work on that line very lightly, and it will blend that line out. You could also, if it's still not blending enough, you can then take your white and go on that line too, and it'll blend it out. Okay, but it's a lot more light strokes to accomplish that, or you'll get like a wax bloom. Just to kind of tell you guys about that. But that kind of drives me nuts because I don't got patience for all that. So, but some people, that's how they like to work, so let them work it. Okay. I mean, because there'll be some people who'll tell you that they hate a blender pencil. So, it all depends on how you want to work. There's no right or wrong answer at all. Okay, let's go down to the bottom here where we got the cloud action going. Oops, let's go like that. Okay, see that section? Let's see, right here, all this here. Okay, we're going to color that. So this little cloud I left down here, just one little cloud. Well, it's all clouds, but puffy cloud. So I'm going to take my dark green and I'm just going to, you can just watch me how I'm going to do this. It's like most of the time when you're doing art, it's just easier to show than to keep talking about it, you know? Okay, then I'm going to take my grass green and I'm going to follow the same thing I just did. And I'm going over that darker green with this grass green, going over that line. And by doing that kind of over and over and over, that's blending out that line into this grass green. And when you're going to blend out with, if you're going to blend out and you were going to use your blender pencil, you need to choose a color that's in that family so it can blend it out. Like a red's not going to blend out this green. You see what I'm saying? So pick like 3 shades of green that can blend into each other. So, okay, then I'm going to take my chartreuse and just go right in the middle, lightly. Okay, and then I'm going to go around the edges of that grass green over and over kind of lightly to blend it out. And the reason I'm doing it like this because I'm showing you how to do this without using that blender. And for those of you who are like, she don't even know how to color without a blender. I can, people. I can. I just don't like to. Okay. And that really, really helps blend that out. See how pretty that looks, right? Just did that right there, right? Let's see if I come up like that. Yeah, let me come in a little bit more. So I just did that cloud right there. See how nice and blended that is? And then let's go ahead and do some white right in the middle with the yellow and going over the edges of that green too a little bit. It helps you get even more of a blend going. There we go. And now I didn't even touch it with that blender pencil. See? It looks awesome. Okay. Let's go into this part of the cloud. Oh, I need to go in with the dark green. I got the grass green in my hand. Sorry. I'll tell you a color you have to be careful of picking up is the darker colors like this dark green. You mean if you're not really looking, you could pick up and think that the black is this color. So just be careful. Okay, now I'm going to go to my chartreuse. And I'm going to go over lightly that darker green color. To kind of blend that out a little bit. And I'm using a light, when I'm trying to blend these two colors together, I'm using a light stroke on that. Then we're going to go in with this Kelly green. Make sure. See, I just picked up the dark green. Kelly green. Here we go. I just said be careful, and then look at, I went and picked it up. It's easy when you're working with colors that are similar to pick up the wrong color. And then let's take that chartreuse again and go back over the edges of this lighter green, grass green. And now I'm going to use my blender and blend this out. Now, and the reason I'm going to use my blender, one is because I like my blender, but number two, I'm not using a green butted right up against this darker green that will blend right into it, like this, like I did over here. This grass green, to really get a good blend without a blender pencil, I would need to go in with this color green, this grass green, right up against the darker green, then the yellow, because this grass green would go into this yellow a lot easier, right, and blend out. So for this technique of what I'm doing for the color, not for the cloud, this cloud part, but this cloud part, I would use a blender pencil, because you're not putting colors like dark, medium, light right next to each other. You're going dark, light, medium. So if you want a good blend without a pencil, without a blender pencil, you need to go dark, medium, light. Putting a little bit of darker green right in the crux here. We'll do a little white highlight right in here. And then I will finish up the rest of these clouds on my own. Let's go to the hair up here. Let me show you guys the little braid. We'll go to a little part of the braid. So for this braid, this is what I'm doing. I'm not even going to use, I'm only using the dark green. So I'm going to use the dark green like this and hit my shading all the way around the braid. And then I'm going to take the chartreuse and put it right in the middle. And then I'm going to take my blender pencil and I'm just going to blend that darker green into the chartreuse color. Remember I told you when you blend out, you actually create a third color, so you don't always need a light, medium, and dark. You could just use a light and a dark with the blender pencil, because you're going to blend out to another medium tone, medium shade. So see how pretty that looks right there? Love it. Throw a little highlight in the center there. All right, because we're getting short on time, you have 5 more minutes for my video is going to cut off. Let's then color, let's do some shading on this body here. Okay, I need violet. Where is that at? I have it right out here. a dark violet. Where? Here it is. Okay, so this is just a violet color, which I think is going to be gorgeous. Let's start shading her body. Remember, I watercolored this here as my, that's another technique you can do. You can use watercolor, you can use watered down acrylic paint. You could use acrylic paint as a base, not even watered down. You can use a marker, an alcohol marker. And it's just nice to throw that down because you don't have to do as much coloring over and over and over. And especially if you have like a large area to cover like I do with her body, it's nice to throw down a base color. I'm getting pretty heavy with the shading over here. We have some lines right here that we can bring down. And I'm going to throw a little bit more heavy shading here. Okay. Hopefully you guys are still seeing everything. Perfect. And then underneath here, we'll throw some more shading. Okay, we'll throw some heavier shading right there. And we'll throw some on her breastises. Okay, so let's take our blender pencil and blend this out. And I have a little bit of green left on my blender pencil, so on another piece of paper, just kind of wipe that off. So as I'm blending this out, the next thing we're going to do on the next video is we're going to take her and put her in the background on one page. We're going to have a collage going on the other page. So we'll be finishing up everything in the next video. Finishing up this little series. I will introduce to you the new Mixed Media Fun Kit that I'll be offering in my Etsy shop from this whole thing. So we're almost done, guys. We just need to put her into, into what? I'm trying to think. Into my background. Into the background we worked on. And like I said, she'll be in the background on one side, and the other side will be a collage that goes with her on the other page. Hopefully, if this video doesn't just cut off. I'm trying to get this finished up before my 30-minute video cuts off. If it cuts off, just go to the next one, and we will we'll be at the point where we're going to collage her into the background. But I'm just going to keep working here until the camera is about to shut off. But I've explained what we're doing on the next video, kind of saying my goodbyes. So if I get cut off, it doesn't just go end and you don't know what the heck's going on. Okay? So I'm just taking my blender pencil and blending this out. Oh, I have this color right here, this lighter lilac. Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to take this lilac I'm going right over the darker color and coming out from there. And this is just giving me a little extra blending. So right here, I'm doing that thing I talked to you about. Dark purple, this is a medium, and then that watercolor is the light color. Now the light color could have been a pencil. I just chose the lightest color to be watercolor to give us that nice base. And then I'm going to take a little bit of white on the edge of that, just to lighten, just for another bit of blending between the lavender, this color here, and the watercolor. Just a little bit, very lightly, just a little mixy mix. Go back to the lavender. This is my blender now. I'm just blending a lot of this stuff together. That looks good. Love it. So there we go. I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and come all the way out. Okay, you guys, so I will see you guys in the next video. And the next one, we will take all of this and we will collage her into the background. And we'll have a collage for the other side. So I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, see you in just a little bit. Bye.